light heavyweight card. I mean, coming up this weekend, we have the Hanyak, Dustin Jacoby representing Factory X Muay Thai, and he's going to be taking on a guy whose nickname is strange. It's the professional Azamat Murzakanov. And Matt, when you look at this matchup, clash of styles. And I know that might sound completely wild because of Murzakanov going out there. He's finishing guys with his hands. Murzakanov's base is combat sambo. And if you look at it, I mentioned it in the video before this, Tanner Boser taking on Iwan Kutsalaba. Murzakanov beat Iwan Kutsalaba in a sambo match. And you might go, oh, well, Craig, sambo. I mean, Blagoy Ivanov beat Fedor. Blagoy's not Fedor. No, it's not. But you're wearing like a gi, and you're going out there wearing MMA gloves and striking. And Murzakanov, the first time, throws a left hook, lands a knockdown. The second time, right hook, left hook, it's a knockdown. Murzakanov one of those special fighters, and he's been on UFC fans' radars for a long time. He was signed with the promotion, supposed to fight Joachim Christensen back at UFC Fight Night. Don't talk about my mom. Chiesa versus Lee, and he tested positive for boldenone and its metabolites. So he was due to fight back in September 2019, or that's when USADA allowed him to fight back around the UFC banner. He spent some time getting ready with Brave CF, won an openweight championship against the guy that, if you're a PFL fan, you saw the win over Fakhreddin, who just lost on the PFL. But Murzakanov beats Fakhreddin, goes over to Dana White's Contender Series, fights Matheus Scheffel, who also fights with the PFL. And in that one, first round, nothing burger, until Murzakanov lands the knockout blow. Then Murzakanov goes out there, makes his UFC debut, and we're talking about a level of opponent where we're building him up. He fights Stefan Chukwe. Going into the third round, Matt, two judges, 1919. Other judge, 2018, in Chukwe. What happened? Murzakanov, wait, load, land the left hand. And his left hand is either straight or a hook, and he does such a good job. But
and he's not a big guy either, but he's got big pop in that hand.
No, he looks like a middleweight, but Azamat just kind of rocks on the outside, doesn't throw a jab, doesn't throw a ton of kicks, although his head kick's pretty good, but he waits, left hand to that jump knee, he finishes Chukwe. And Murzakanov's last time out, you're going to remember it for Fight Night Picks takes Murzakanov. Everybody laughs. But if you go back and watch that fight, first round, nothing burger again. Murzakanov lands the straight left, lands the overhand left. That's about it for the first 4 minutes and a half of that round. Then Devin Clark lands a head kick and rocks Murzakanov into a takedown attempt. Second round, it's the left hands where Murzakanov landed, and Devin Clark didn't look like he wanted to be around anymore. Like Carl Havoc on, I think you should leave.
I don't want to be here.
Then in the third round, you might think, okay, Devin Clark looks so bad in the second round. How did Azamat win it? Well, he landed a hook to the body that dropped Devin Clark, and he got the win. So Murzakanov still looks amazing, undefeated, just turned 34 this week, so happy birthday. Get a kazoo out there and a birthday hat. But Murzakanov coming into this fight, again, the reason why I say it's a clash of styles, Dustin Jacoby fought, Canadian Simon Marcus twice over with Glory and got knocked out by Alex Pereira. But even Dustin Jacoby, he's come so far from like the Clifford Starks fight that he had his first time in the UFC to the guy that we've seen on this giant win streak that the judges took from his last time.
And if OPS Plus was an MMA stat, like it's not, you guys have no idea what this is. In baseball, you can judge players by eras because basically what you do is put everybody's OPS together, you figure out what the average is, and then the average is 100. Anything above 100 means you're good, anything below 100 means that you're bad. Yeah. Just Dustin Jacoby would have an OPS above 100 with his striking. Like, if we judge striking in those numbers, he's a very talented striker with his technique, with his power, with the way that he can go downhill with his combinations, but he does leave the opening for a guy like Murzakanov to land some of those bigger hooks on the outside. But I bring up the size because I do think that would be a factor in this fight. Jacoby is a big guy for this division, and we've even seen him match up against other big light heavyweights, even up in heavyweight. I can't remember his name all of a sudden, but Dustin Jacoby fares very well.
Ledet?
No, not Ledet. I'm gonna feel stupid here in 2 seconds. Max Grecian. Grecian is massive, and Jacoby was really able to do a good job physically with a guy like Grecian, so I don't think Jacoby's going to struggle with Murzakanov in that capacity, but it is interesting. I like the nickname The Professional. Do you?
No, I hate it.
Really? I like it. This is why I think like The Professional, like there's a lot of hitmen,
the movie?
But there's only one John Wick, like he's the professional. Like there's a lot of guys who do Samba. I'm the professional, though. I think it's a fun nickname.
It'd be cool if he ever talked. He never talks. He doesn't do anything. Like, he's just, I'm the professional. I show up and I win. And that's it. It's kind of lame.
We don't say that about anybody else's nickname when we talk about that, though, so don't know why that matters. I just think for Murzakanov, he does have all the skills that should pose a guy like Jacoby trouble, because Jacoby, when he moves backwards, if there's the threat of the takedown, he won't throw a lot of volume, but if you're just moving forward trying to strike with him, he is perfectly fine with moving backwards while he strikes. So I do think for Murzakanov, his ability to switch ranges should be able to help him a lot, but if we do see that kind of inactive on the outside, that leaves the window wide open for Jacoby to just walk forward, not do anything wild, but just be a patient kickboxer.
You bring up guys on this card. Pedro Munoz throws a cracking leg kick, and even in his resets, because he'll do the little spinorama, he doesn't really tend to take a ton of damage. Chris Gutierrez, who trains at Dustin Jacoby's gym, throws really quick leg kicks. There's a little bit of a reset, but it's just so fast. Alex Pereira throws them where there's not a lot of upper body movement, so it camouflages that. You saw that in the first round against Adesanya. And then the second round he got finished. Out of Dustin Jacoby, there's a big windup, but he's so far on the outside that it doesn't give his opponents time to get within the range to then really land on him. So Murzakanov's lack of volume is what scared me in the fight against Devin Clark. That's why I thought Clark was going to win. Boy, was I wrong, and I didn't think Devin Clark was going to react like that to like a couple of left hands. But it goes to show you the power of Murzakanov. Sure. Will Dustin Jacoby be able to go out there and purely strike with Azamat Murzakanov? That's a big question. And will Murzakanov, coming out of K-Dojo Warrior Tribe, a gym where you remember when Yanal Ashmos came out and fought Sam Patterson a few weeks ago? I do, and that's that gym, as well as an early career Khabib Nurmagomedov.
I'm just curious, do you look at this as the step up in competition that I do? Like, I think this is a major step up from the Devin Clark he saw the last time out. I just think, like, Dustin Jacoby, again, like you would say, Devin Clark didn't look all that durable in that fight. That's all I'm going to say. Dustin Jacoby, you got to hit pretty hard to get him to stop throwing his own boxing combinations forward.
And if you think of it for a guy like Dustin Jacoby, it's the biggest, like, middle finger of a reset because, okay, you go on a run, you beat Ledette, Grecian, really close fight. Kutsalaba 10-8 first round, and then Jacoby wins the next two. Knocks out Darren Stewart, who was at the end of his UFC career. Has a good fight against John Allen. Looked great against Olashechuk. Against Dawoon Jung, he goes out there and picks his boxing shots, plays hand fighting, and knocks him out in the first round. And then against Khalil Roundtree, most people thought that Jacoby won that fight overwhelmingly. So to go from beating Khalil Roundtree Jr. to then now facing an undefeated guy who throws a ton of power. And the last decision win for Murzakanov was against a pro kickboxer in Guto Innocent. So that's kind of a weird one matchmaking-wise. You got to put guys together outside of the top 15 to give them their shot.
But Jacoby's been number 16 for 3 years now. Yeah, like at a certain point, give the man his due.
It's really weird. So another fellow happy birthday to Dustin Jacoby. Just turned 35 in the last week. Jacoby, the decent favorite in this matchup. Murzakanov, the underdog. We have a look at the Tapology votes, Matt. And I'm perplexed. I don't know where it's going to be. You want to set the over-under?
Sure. I'm going to set it at 74.5% Jacoby.
I'm going to say under. Okay. And we have a look at it. It's under 1,097 total votes, 65% Jacoby, 75% by decision. For the 35% that I have, Murzakanov, 49% by knockout. Matt, I mean, Dustin Jacoby, 2-1 favorite in the matchup, and I'm thinking I picked him in just about every single UFC fight he's had since he's been back, except for maybe like one. So, Dustin Jacoby, I love the strike on the outside of the matchup for him.
So you're picking him in this one? It sounds like it. I just think there's two very obvious issues that Murzakonov's going to run into. He's fighting a man who's way bigger than him.
Who has good cardio.
Exactly. Who is pretty durable. And who throws good volume for the light heavyweight division. I know against Khalil Roundtree Jr. it might not have been the best showcase of that, but when Jacoby is fighting another guy who will go out there and strike with him, especially a guy with the low volume of a Murzakanov, I can see Jacoby really feeling himself, if you will, and I do think we will see a lot more combinations out of him. I think the kicks will be essential, but the 65-35 I think is a pretty fair split on Tapology. You know, like, I think there's a decent chance where Murzakanov could use some of that foot speed, get on the inside, land a big hook. It's just I haven't seen Jacoby go down from one shot yet, so I don't think it's going to happen now.
I mean, Max Grecian was able to do it in that matchup.
He got up, though.
That's why I thought Grecian was able to get it done. And at the same time, Grecian was able to pressure him up against the cage, make it gritty, take away that space.
He didn't do a lot in between that, though.
And Kutsalaba had a lot of success with the takedowns, too. I'll go with the big underdog in Azamat Murzakanov. I'm going to completely flip my pole of thinking. This got me snake bitten last weekend and going, hey, I'm going to take all these finishers to beat the longer, kind of more drawn out type of fighters on the card. And it didn't work out for me, but in this one, I'm going to go with Azamat Murzakanov. Hopefully he's able to kind of get himself into the fight, because Dustin Jacoby's one of those guys that's going to get you into a fight with really good volume on the outside. I think this is an amazing fight. We're split on the pick. I'm going with the guy based in New Jersey now, and Azamat Murzakanov, you're going with Colorado's own Dustin Jacoby. We need to hear from you down below in the comments section on this one. Let us know who you have in the matchup, Matt. And in the co-main event, possible fight of the night, you get Edson Barboza Jr. taking on Billy Quarantillo. Should be a great fight. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, we always say.
Let's get into it.